Right up and down the coast of Australia, fishing crews like this one are working long days and nights to bring in sustainably caught seafood. Here in Mooloolaba, the dock has been buzzing since well before dawn. This boat is back from a week at sea with a large catch of tuna to offload.
Righto, mate.
So we end up with about 12 tonne of target fish for 4 days, 4 days fishing. So I'd consider that a success, yeah.
12 tonnes is just the start for today. A second crew is also returning from a stint fishing off the coast of Coffs Harbour. They have even more on board.
Yeah, 17 tonnes, pretty good catch for us. Mainly yellowfin tuna.
This fleet is part of a company called 4 Seas. Annually, they bring in about 1,200 tonnes of tuna. But none of it will end up identifiably Australian in the tinned tuna that's sold in staggering volumes in supermarkets here.
There is no Australian tuna available on our supermarket shelves.
You know, Australia is a manufacturing country. I think we lost that initiative years ago. The way our economy's set up now, manufacturing, not only for canned products, but other products has gone offshore.
Imported tuna products, when we catch and produce plenty of tuna here, is not a new problem.
You want a squidgy?
In fact, frustration over this situation is exactly what prompted Rowan and Kate Lamison from Cairns in Far North Queensland to try and bring about a change back in 2017.
Well, my family is a fishing family. My parents helped pioneer tuna fishing out of Cairns in the 90s, early 90s, late 80s. So we've been involved within the tuna fishing industry on the East Coast for over 30 years.
We wanted to consume Australian tuna ourselves, but also we understood that Australian fishermen deserve a spot on the supermarket shelves. That's how Little Tuna was born.
Rowan and Kate's food manufacturing business produces all Australian preserved tuna from fish caught in Australia. While Rowan is no longer out fishing, it is still a family affair.
Yeah, I've been in the industry my whole life. I've never had a land job, so I've been fishing now for 20 years.
For the last 7 years, through Little Tuna, Rowan and Kate have been making preserved tuna using albacore, a white-fleshed fish that's abundant but not highly valued here, and sometimes has no market at all.
We wanted to pair the fish with good quality ingredients, good salts, good oils, and put it in a glass jar and make it a boutique item that we needed to cover the costs of high production costs and manufacturing here in Australia.
Since their launch, they've not only found a place in the market, but a very loyal customer base. They now sell about 20 tonnes of tuna annually through their jars and are stocked in over 170 stores Australia-wide.
We have quite a large retail reach. These are in more of your health food stores, your boutique grocers, and in our fish shop, in other fish shops.
But there's no denying it is a premium product. At $15 a jar, it's a whole different kettle of fish to what's on offer in the tinned tuna aisle. And so they've set their sights on another endeavour.
About a year ago, we became aware that our Australian fishers had a lot of albacore available and they weren't getting paid well enough for their efforts. So we knew we had to create a tin product that was more affordable but was still representing Australian fishers.
Producing an affordable, all-Australian tinned tuna in 2024 is no small undertaking. While once we had numerous canneries scattered across the country, increasing operating costs and a changing economy ended that a long time ago.
This went offshore some 25 years ago, and with it went 10,000 Australian jobs.
It wasn't only the end of all those manufacturing jobs either. The infrastructure disappeared too, and it also completely changed the way the fishery operated.
The industry in Australia is mainly a chilled market. So we'll go to sea, we catch the fish, we bring it back, and we'll go and target international markets with our premium tuna, and we'll get the premium prices, and we have to do that because of the operating costs.
That's because the difference between what it costs to fish commercially in Australia as compared to elsewhere around the globe is significant.
We pay about 4.5 to 5 times what the US pays for a deckhand. And they pay about 2.5 times what a deckhand will get paid on the far seas fishing vessels, the high seas fishing vessels. So their cost base to catch all this tuna on the high seas is a lot cheaper than what it is for us.
And it's not just the wages on board Australian fishing vessels that make cut-price seafood unsustainable. It's also the considered and extensive management of our fishery.
It's long lining, so no nets are involved. It's just one continuous long line. So we can change the depth of the gear to really target the yellowfin and less of other bycatch species and things like that, yeah.
You know, the amount of regulation that's on those boats out there when they go fishing is huge. They have electronic logbooks they must fill in. Every part of that fishing operation is filmed by those cameras on the back deck. That records all the fish that are coming over and all the wildlife interactions.
The tuna is also handled extremely carefully to ensure that high quality to fetch the premium price. Sometimes there's a lot on the line.
Probably our best one was, wasn't our biggest, but it was about 200 kilos, and it went for just under $200 Australian a kilo. And after the export freight, we ended up with about $35,000 for it. Yeah.
That's right, $35,000 for one fish. So you can see it really is a different game to that of the tinned tuna market, which is highly saturated and where the emphasis is absolutely lowest price as opposed to highest quality.
Well, you can buy a small can of tuna for $1.10 if you go into one of the lower price supermarkets. Cat food, on the other hand, is $2.20 for the same type of product, and people are quite prepared to pay that for their pets. The cost of the cans is ridiculously low for what's inside.
Ridiculously low it may be, but it is accepted. Tuna is consumed in huge volumes.
72% of Australians consume tuna and they eat 336 million tins. So if we can be part of that supply, then we will be successful.
But to be a part of it, Rowan and Kate had to do things a little differently to how they'd first hoped. Their Australian caught albacore is being sent to a cannery in Thailand. The decision to take canning offshore was not something the couple came to lightly. There was also quite a journey to settle on which cannery. It had to be MSC certified, meaning the Global Marine Stewardship Council has endorsed the cannery as sourcing sustainable seafood from healthy, wild fish populations.
We did a trip over to Thailand at the very start of the year just to go see the facility before we made any kind of decisions yet, to ensure that their values represented our values as well.
They've decided not to sell their tins under their Little Tuna umbrella either, but rather a brand new little sister brand called East Coast Tuna Company.
We've done this out of the belief that we want to be able to differentiate what's made in Australia and what's made in Thailand, but we still want to link the two together.
Being very transparent and being able to explain why we've had to do that has been very important to us.
They really want consumers to be able to clearly see exactly what it is that they're buying, something that's not often achievable in the tuna aisle.
The tin tuna market in the supermarket aisle is designed to confuse the consumer. There's no brand attachment in tin tuna currently. People just want to buy the cheapest. It would be nice to be able to change that.
Not just for consumers either. Australia's longline fishery is worth an estimated $55 to $60 million. But to ensure its success, consumers have to support Australian fishers and the businesses they supply.
it's hard to get it from the boat to the plate. There's a lot of in between, that's for sure.
So is it possible? Can an Australian tinned tuna, canned in Thailand, succeed? Kate and Rowan admit it is a gamble.
It's a massive risk because we're playing with large quantities. So we're not just sending a little bit over there to give it a go. We are sending containers of fish and mass producing tins straight up.
For now, they have no choice but to take their tuna offshore for canning. Even so, Rowan and Kate are determined not to give up on their goal to one day be able to sell tinned tuna that's both caught and canned here in Australia. Kate says it's on their 5-year vision board.
The next step for onshore processing is to look at getting a larger canner and to start canning it here in our space.
Of course, that all depends on whether the Australian consumer gets behind their tinned products.
We've secured just over 60 tonnes of raw material to go over.
Their tinned tuna will be stocked in the stores that already sell their jarred tuna, but they're hopeful the big supermarkets will take the tinned product as well.
Our goal is to be on a major supermarket shelf on the tuna aisle. They are talking to us, so that's the first step.
There will no doubt be more hurdles to overcome, but that's what risk takers do. They expose the problems and try to find a way around them. In the seafood industry, it's the only way to survive.
We're not alone here. It's across all of Australia's agri-producers, and we need to protect our food bowl. We need support to get this innovation through research and development. And that's where we've got to look to our government to say, well, if we're going to look after our feed bowl and feed our nation for the future rather than being an importer of produce, then how do we make that happen?
Rowan and Kate aren't waiting for someone else to try to figure that out. For this young fishing family and the fishers they want to represent, there's simply too much at stake.
I think they're proud that they can see their fish being sold like that. I mean, they know where it's going and what it's doing, and being able to trace it back to them, they can say, "Oh, I caught it." I think that's a moment most people would be very proud of.
They've got a great story to tell, and their fish it's sustainable, so it needs a space.